Hello class, I'm making this video because in going through your last assignment I think there's some things that got miscommunicated and I want to clear that up. And so I just want to cover a few points more in detail with regard to that assignment. A few of you have asked me, can you redo the assignment? What I've set up is that the final business plan is an accumulation of all your assignments relative to the business plan. And at that point, you can redo this particular assignment or any of the other assignments. For this particular assignment, since there has been some miscommunication, I will take whatever you submit in your final project that pertains to this section, regrade it, and update your score that's there currently. So for example, if you've got, let's say, a 10 out of 30 on the assignment, and no one did, but let's say someone did, you redo the assignment, you turn it in with your final business plan. I will look at this part of the business plan, regrade it, and say, okay, they made great improvement. I'll give this a 30 out of 30. And so I will then go back to the grade book, look at module 3, and then change the grade accordingly. Then I'll go back and then grade the entire final business plan. Okay, so before you go back and redo and refurbish, I wanted to cover a few key points. One being, many of you directed your comments about the entire business of Allstate. And so let me make it clear that we are only focusing in or giving advice to the local branch of Allstate here in town. Okay, so that's the case scenario we've set up, the local branch here in town. The next problem or next concern I had is that a lot of your advice dealt with issues that are outside of social media. So a lot of you talked about changing the pricing, shooting commercials, etc. You must think of the social media marketing plan within the bounds of social media. And so let me talk through more specifics. So when you do situational analysis, I give you a little leeway there, but I want you to now think about what is your situation with regard to social media and what they're currently doing with social media and what you think they're able or could be doing. All right. The next thing I want you to think that came up is many of you changed what the target market audience would be for the project. And once you graduate, you'll see that when you deal with customers, or if you've ever worked retail, the customer is always right. And so we must stick with the target audience that was specified in the case. And so go back, look at what the customer says they want to target. And then where I have insight, I want you to go and find out what this particular demographic does in terms of social media. And that should help frame some of the recommendations you make to the client. Okay? The other thing is, when you're making your suggestion, think about the total experience you want to create for potential customers that may happen across the Facebook or the Twitter account in the Allstate social media. What kind of experience do you want to create for them? What will you do to draw them in? Okay? So think about that. And then how would you activate the plan, and so on and so forth it goes. The next key thing I want you to think about. So here's some other questions. What is the story with Allstate with regard to social media? I didn't hear a lot about that. Who would be the key characters in any kind of social media program you carried out? And how does the situation emerge? Just think about these questions within the context of social media. The other thing is I need very specific measures of success for your social media program. That means it should be able to measure it objectively, know exactly what you're talking about, and I'm going to keep further to give you some examples, but there's a SWOT analysis where we talked about, think about the SWOT analysis, or at least include where their strengths, weaknesses, opportunity areas, and threats are in terms of engaging in a social media marketing plan, or any, where they stand now with their social media marketing plan. So, for example, they don't have a strong social media program now. That is clearly a weakness, right? But maybe there's a strength either by the resources they have to help them with social media, uh, they're familiar with technology, so on and so forth. The fact that they have an extended client base, these could all be things that would be strengths to building a social media program, not just strengths to the company. What are some of the threats or difficulties that you encounter when you're going to build this social media program? So, one of the threats, I don't know, they could come from the competitor, could come from your own clientele. Um, that's what you need to think about. The other thing is, I know I say business objective, but everything is within the context of social media. And again, I'm going to repeat the specific goals. SMART goals, what I call SMART goals. And so here are some examples. I mean, before I had many different type of examples, but now I'm going to focus on examples just for social media so you get the idea. So increase business gain from social media by X%. Increase the number of comments on a blog by X%. Increase the number of likes by X%. And make these things realistic. Now I know you're thinking, Dr. Davis, how do I know what's realistic? How do I know what to recommend? And so one of the things you can do is think about the 4 zones that we've already talked about and how those fit in with developing a social media marketing plan. The other thing you can do is look at what other Allstate agents are doing and look at what your competition is doing. So when you give any recommendation, you want to already know what's out there. And so, for example, if we go to, let's say we go to Facebook. I'm going to go to Facebook real quick here. So for example, we can go to Facebook and type in Allstate agent. And so some come up already. And let's see, let's try Ron Binsky. And so I would encourage you to look at what Ron Binsky and Associates, an Allstate agency, is doing. They have 455 likes, and see what he does to drive traffic to his Facebook website. And, look at some of the promotions, those that have been successful, those haven't, that have not. What kind of content does he put on his Facebook that will help hopefully drive traffic to his site? So look at that. And so that's the kind of input I'm looking for. Yes, it's great to post to Facebook once a week, but your client needs specific direction on what kind of content will be good for him to post on Facebook. What's going to drive traffic? What is going to interest people? And so that's why I have you engaged in the social media, trying to figure out what's interesting to people, what will generate a like, what will make people come to the Facebook. So think about that for your client as well. And you can do similar searches on LinkedIn. There's some State Farm agents and Allstate agents there. You may want to search Twitter. There are all kinds of mechanisms you can use to find out what others are doing relative to social media. Also, use some of that information to support some of the recommendations that you're making to the client. So for example, if you think you should post something every week, see what other agents are doing that have a lot of likes or followers on their Twitter? Are they posting every week? Are they posting every hour? And that would support your recommendation for the client to post every week or every hour, whatever it is you're recommending. Okay? So these were a little helpful hints or advice I have for you on this module. And I'm looking forward to reading your revised modules when we turn in the final business package. So leaving you, I want you to remember that the confines of our recommendation, the confines of our social media marketing plan is just with social media, just with the local office, right? So things like television commercials, um, redoing pricing, those kinds of things would not be appropriate for a local franchisee. Okay, so talk to you later. Bye.